Salve, salve galerinha! A transmissão já nos tacou direto no game, então vamos de game, né, guys? É padrãozinho. Vamos lá, beleza. RNG claramente reconhece a força do Renekton do Fudge, a Cloud9 reconhece a força dos mesmos campeões que todo mundo tá reconhecendo a RNG, mas eu tô achando que tá todo mundo se sentindo muito confortável jogando contra a Caixa do Gala. E até agora só um time ganhou. Que coisa, né?
Also up for grabs. The question is, what will RNG prioritize? Looks like for now, they're going to get themselves the Rumble, and I imagine they will pair this either with the Kai'Sa, or they will pair it with the Lucian. Depends on, I wonder how Xiao feels about the Lucian into Lee Sin matchup. I could see it being quite good for Lucian for a while, but it probably gets to a point where it's not that good anymore. I mean, he's just hovering champions now, isn't he? Like, there's no way
just mess with you. You never talk about hovers, Veli.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's just hovering champions right now.
Looks like it's going to be Nautilus first here, not opting for the Kai'Sa, instead saying, well, we prefer having Nautilus for Ming, which makes a lot of sense. Now C9 have a few options. You go pick your bot lane, that's usually what we see here, or you can pick a jungler and your AD carry, which is also an option.
Senna is available.
Vamos lá, família.
Conseguiram
roubar a Caixa. Mas agora a RNG vai jogar de... Ah, gosto muito, inclusive, tá? A Zaya é mais tradicional, é um counter mais normal. E vai ser a Zaya padrãozinho. E agora tudo indica que a RNG ou vai montar um quarteto forte que jogue sozinho e deixar a Zaya abandonada para pegar farm. E eu praticamente falei que nem o Eminem, rap God, foda-se, é isso. Que idiota, né?
Regardless, we'll get to watch that a little bit later. Top lane locked in for C9 and jungle locked in for RNG. So you imagine, excuse me, that we'll see a lot of the bans that we've been seeing so far. So Nocturne, Set as potential answers.
Nidalee realmente é um campeão que consegue invadir muito bem pra cima do Rumble. O Dir já tá banido, Morgana também.
Maybe even the Lilia, if they wanted to remove all possible AP junglers from the pool.
Cara, eu não tô nem de meme, mas se eles banirem agora uma Lilia, eu gostaria muito, vocês não fazem ideia de quanto, de ver Yasuo Diana. Meu Deus, o Olaf foi um ótimo ban pra C9 se isso acontecer. Caraca, velho, pelo amor de Jesus. Eu tiraria Victor aqui agora. Victor ou Orianna. É um desses dois pra mim. Totalmente. Orianna, ok. Então eles querem que eles peguem Victor pro Crying. Mas eu não acho que é um campeão que ele costuma pegar, isso é ruim.
Still a bunch of different options for C9 in that jungle role. Of course, could always bring the Kindred back out.
Pelo amor de Deus, Diana e Yasuo. Diana e Yasuo. Diana e Yasuo. Por favor, C9. Faça o meu sonho se realizar. A Damwon já fez isso, eu quero que vocês façam isso também. É perfeito. Quase perfeito. Dá um playmaker na mão do Perks, cara. Não bota esses magos que ele vai ficar fora de posição e vai morrer. Vôlei? Então vôlei agora? Não é uma composição ruim, mas não é Diana e Yasuo. TF ganha a ult do Rumble, ganha da Zoe na lane, é um dos poucos campeões que faz isso. Não vou dizer que assim é a coisa mais fácil do mundo. Mas ele não precisa ganhar dela, ele só precisa não perder dela.
I
bet have you watched any Cloud9 play throughout this entire tournament? I can promise you we're going to see some mid-jungle early on, perhaps around the level 3, around a Scuttle Crab, perhaps?
Wow, Twisted Fate has a 100% win rate. That might be just because Cryan has played all of the Twisted Fate games so far this tournament, and RNG win a lot, but okay, well, I think that he is very comfortable on the Twisted Fate. He often picks this matchup. He does lose priority in the mid lane, but I think that I want to see him ult a little bit more than we did earlier in the day. Yeah. He wasn't super proactive with the ultimate, but to be fair, he and Xiaohu generated huge amounts of pressure in the side lane until they inevitably found some of those really good fights. C9, their backs are against the wall. They don't need this win, if I understand correctly, in order to stand a chance. But a win here would be excellent for them.
It really helps keep things a little bit more in their own control. Of course, Mad dropping a game to Darmonkio in the last game helps them out a bit as well, because it means there's still only 2 wins behind Mad Lions, who are sitting at 3 and 4. But Cloud9 have PSG, who are very much on form, Mad Lions and Pentanet left. So they need to find at least 2 wins out of that if they don't manage to take this victory.
Tá. A composição da C9, novamente, agora ela é uma composição de entrada. Tem potencial de pick-off muito grande. E tem engage sem comprometimento se eles quiserem. Você pode acertar uma ult da Leona e ter uma Kai'Sa e uma Zoe. Acertar uma ult da Leona e ter um Lee Sin e uma Zoe. Você pode acertar uma ult da Leona e ter um Lee Sin e uma Kai'Sa. Você pode acertar um Q do Volibear e ter, sabe, você tem várias opções. Por outro lado, a RNG tem um TF que vai contestar a pressão da Zoe, tá? Vai jogar, entre aspas, com a Zoe, tá? Eles também não têm curto alcance de dano, o alcance de dano deles não é baixo. Tá, eles têm Rumble e Jace que trazem esse alcance para uma longa distância. É uma composição muito perigosa de se entrar, porque se você entra, esse mesmo Rumble pode ser usado defensivamente. O TF pode engajar ou desengajar com a carta dourada. E você tem uma Zaya, né? Você não quer entrar de frente para uma Zaya, nunca.
These teams don't make these slip-ups. These top teams don't. That's what makes them top teams in the first place, right? And even when they do
no mid, no early game, a pressão é da Zoe, mas isso deve ser equiparado e o TF consegue acompanhar ela pelo mapa, tá? No top, a pressão é pra ser do Lee Sin. Só que eu acho que ele vai givar no early, porque o Volibear vai fazer o clear pro bot. Então ele vai ser meio que obrigado a givar pra não sofrer na rota.
Cloud9, yes, they've been close multiple times, and that is very frustrating, and it feels like that there are only a couple things that they need to change.
E no bot lane a pressão provavelmente ela tem a tendência a ser favorável a C9, tá?
But in practice, you need to make those executions perfect in order to take down these top teams. But we'll see if they can do it. So far in the early game, nothing crazy has happened. We're seeing a Volibear full clear top side, but now what is Blabber doing? Because he's not pathing towards the bot side of the map, he's actually looking for a top lane gank.
E é como eu falei, o TF ele consegue counterar a Zoe, sabe? Opa. Ótimo duo, o melhor duo da C9 desde que eles saíram da fase de grupos. Correção, desde o último dia da fase de grupos. E com o push da bot lane, eles conseguem garantir. E o Blabber consegue 2 ganks e 2 ganks de muito sucesso. E é uma equipe muito... E essa é a C9 que ganhou da Damon nos grupos, tá? É uma C9 agressiva, proativa, que reconhece as próprias forças e abusando do Rumble, sabe? O Rumble é um campeão de power farm, ele não vai gankar, ele vai estar farmando. É o que ele tem como fazer.
broken, and there goes Crying back to the fountain for the second
E uma
time
kill pro
in
Perks
3
pra
minutes.
variar. Abusando, o que acontece? É uma pressão de gank contra um campeão imóvel. O early game da Zoe é muito forte. Posicionamento perigoso do Perks, mas com o reconhecimento das próprias forças e fraquezas, né?
Importantly, had just burnt his teleport to get back to the lane, so now is going to lose out on about a wave and a half.
That's bad. Yeah. That is bad. He does not want to base. You can
ele
see
ficou.
He's got the have sustain from his W as well. He's just popped a pot. Okay, so what Fudge is doing right now is, hey, Blabber, I know you ganked my lane. I know you got me a kill. Any chance you could come back again and help your brother out, because I am in danger right now.
Gostei muito do early game da C9. Agora o Perks não pode ser pego. Só isso. O Perks só precisa mostrar que ele aprendeu com os picks que ele tomou nos outros jogos. O TF tem setup de gank, né? Ele bota a cartinha dourada, dá auto-ataque e pronto, né? Mas o Rumble não quer gankar antes do 6, ele quer ficar suave, farmar, crescer, pegar os itens dele, para depois gankar.
It's going to alleviate a lot of early pressure. They've burnt a lot of early summoner spells, and now I want to see him keep this momentum up, because look at where the wave is in mid. It's kind of frozen, which means that Cryan is forced to overextend. Wei is now pathing immediately up towards the top side, wants to get a little bit more vision, because he knows that if Blabber's going to make a gank, it's going to happen up here. And so he's really
Meu amigo!
Get that information. The ward will come down, this will spot them out.
Blabber, of course, doesn't have the flash, used it in that mid lane play. Wei's going to try and burn him down with the Flame Spitter and has the Blast Cone to escape if he so desires.
O Wei tem que entender que ele não peita um Volibear nesse nível.
I'll set up a little microwave for you there if you want. You can burn a little bit, but Blabber just keeping his top laner safe. You said Fudge would be calling for a little bit of help. Blabber was there and he answered.
E é como é mais fácil pro TF jogar, sabe? Porque o TF troca com auto-ataque. A Zoe tem que trocar com skill.
His HP is suffering as a result. He does of course have the corrupting pop, but the same can be said for Cryan. It means that Cryan is actually getting prio in this lane, which doesn't normally happen in the Zoe versus Twisted Fate matchup. Normally you have so much control that it's actually difficult for the TF to step forward.
Belo dodge do Ming não, do Vulcan em cima do Ming, inclusive. Essa Big Wave, tá, o que ela me indica é que o Wei tá cleanando o top e quer fazer dragão. Eles não querem dar dive num Rumble 6, né?
Here comes Cryin, Destiny in, Fudge.
Sério que vocês vão fazer isso depois que a Wave morre?
RNG, Perks TP's in as well to force RNG away, but RNG looked for that dive when the wave had already been cleared out, and because of that, C9 know the enemy jungle is on the top side. Oh, Dragon resets a little bit, should be able to get it, but RNG do not want to give it up without a fight. Ming stepping in, the Dragon secure.
Com o Blabber nível 6 eles podem lutar isso. Ah, mas os vendem o reset.
Okay, so I think in the straight 2v2, Cloud9 could have won that, but they saw that Wei and Cryan were in mid, and if they committed, they were probably going to end up losing out. So I think it was smart to just leave your supports to the Wolves, give over that kill in exchange for the Drake, because it could have ended up much worse than it ended up being.
E eu acho que foi comunicação do Vulcan, né, de tipo givar ele.
I wasn't keeping track of Cryan's summoner spells. I'm not sure if he had another summoner spell or if his TP was on cooldown as to why he couldn't use it. But as you rightly said, he came to top lane far too late. Lee Sin E wave clear very fast, which means that Fudge was able to clear that one out, and then the TP response from Perks. The fact that Perks TP'd at the same time suggests to me that Cryan's TP just came off cooldown, and so yeah, either it just came off cooldown, or they held on to it a little bit too long. In any case, RNG are not able to find a successful kill top, and Perks and Fudge are making their way into the enemy jungle.
O potencial de pick-off, mas puta que Perks!
Would have hit if Wei hadn't harpooned the Razor Beaks. However, Wei is forced out of his jungle. Will not get the spawn of his Razor Beaks. Blabber will take them, and Perks with control of the mid lane is able to work with his team. Vulcan comes across, catches the wave, will hold this for Perks, so he can keep building that slight CS lead he has in the mid lane. Did miss the first minion, but he gets the second, so that is all well and good. However, because of that, Vulcan being away from his lane, Sven now has to step back, has really been playing on the weak side of the map for the majority of this game.
E é tudo jogado de acordo com a pressão e com a movimentação do time, sabe? Eles sabem que o suporte tá no lado, que o jungle tá do lado. Então eles sabem que tem a vantagem numérica naquele lugar,
right,
sabe?
so if we have an opportunity to look at the gold, we can see that probably there's an advantage for Xiaohu in top lane. Even though he died, he has a huge CS advantage. Advantage in bot lane as well, because of the plates that Gala was able to get. So, yes, the gold is even, but what's important here is that Cloud9 is able to find some momentum. That's good damage from Fudge. He's not going to overcommit for that, though. He's just going to use that as a point of pressure to set up maybe even a dive, because that's a stacked wave. Crying, though, going to respond.
Amigo!
Is he not? Oh, wait.
No!
Lots of pings came down.
Do they know? Does he know that he knows?
I don't think Crying knows, because Blabber's on the chase. Sleepy Trouble Bubble goes a little bit wide as Crying does flash over it.
Blabber was basing, he turned his head, and then he just kind of looked at him. Crying had no idea how close Blabber actually was. But he ends up getting away. Cost him his flash, and now RNG on the response.
Gold card locked in. Crying, great ultimate there. Blabber with the Stormbringer to get himself to safety through the hook.
Nicely done. RNG, though, not slowing down on the map. Looking for plays wherever they can find them. And now the gold has equalized. So, we're kind of in a neutral state. But C9 are not at an early deficit. Now, admittedly, against some of these top teams, they've been in this position before. Against RNG, they were at a massive early game deficit. Yeah. That was the Lee Sin game.
Wait.
No, it wasn't. It was the...
I don't know what you're looking for.
Why can't I remember? Lucian! It was the Lucian game. Because they had the Malphite top, and then they played heavily through top, and then they took that tower extremely quickly at 10 minutes. I had Lee Sin stuck in my head, and I was that was the Lucian game top from Xiaohu. And then, of course, that was where C9 got that huge teamfight ace. And they were waiting because they were coming out ahead in the teamfights. This time, though, they're keeping the gold even in the mid-game. And I would say that their team fighting is a little bit stronger, I think, just because I think that Twisted Fate isn't the strongest team fight tool. You're playing very much around your cooldowns, but you could say the same thing a little bit about a Zoe. It very much depends on kind of what crowd control lands, what skill shot ends up hitting from the side of the Zoe. But I think these fights are going to be exciting, for sure, because we saw Fudge did have a fantastic performance last time, really kept a lot of those fights very, very close. Not that game, different game, because Fudge was not on the Lee Sin.
That was against Damokia.
That was against Darwin, yeah. My point is, C9 fight good, okay? That's what I mean. And I'm excited to watch them fight, because they're in an even gold state.
I've enjoyed this descent into madness, but let's get back
My
into
words
this
just
game
not coming out.
Blabber's going to clear out the control ward and get this Scuttle Crab. Vulcan has done a really good job of roaming up and helping out Perks and helping out Blabber whenever they've needed it. Sleeper Trouble Bubble, sidestepped here. Vulcan doesn't quite connect with the Zenith Blade either. Blabber has got that topside Scuttle, and in 10 seconds there's a Dragon available for them. Of course, Blabber still has the Rift Tower, can chuck it down here and use that pressure to then roam down towards the bottom river with his mid laner, with his support, and gain control as a cohesive three-man unit. They will make sure the Rift Tower charges first, of course, because you want that plate gold, but then they can work their way down towards that bot side river and look at securing their second dragon of the game.
Perks wanted to try and get some of that gold, but with the Nautilus stepping
in, Perks
couldn't quite get close enough, which means that Blabber's going to be the benefactor of all that turret plate money. Once again, Cloud9 have reclaimed the gold lead ever so slightly.
It's a tiny window here where Perks doesn't have TP. Well, he does have TP, but he has to join late. Double TP coming from C9. Vulcan low, but he pops the stopwatch, and here comes Fudge. Kick onto Way, drives in onto the backline. Fudge takes one, and Fudge with a perfect TP flank gets the double and wins the fight for Cloud9. Xiaohu's going to try and survive here. He's got the flash, but there are 3 players chasing him down. Cloud9 set that up beautifully.
Well, let's say, Medic. Cloud9, team fight good. Team fight good. Beautifully played from Cloud9, and they had the double TP, and I think the reset from Perks was so important because he was able to spend his money, then come back into the fray. Vulcan, the stopwatch was so clutch because you think that he's just going to get melted right off the bat, but he actually buys so much time for his team that they're able to re-engage. Fudge arrives, and then the team fight goes in favor of C9. They should be able to get this free.
Oh, he just gets it. He is going to die for this. secures the second dragon of the game for
His team probably should have helped him a little bit there.
Mas ele pegou, tá bom.
maybe a tad.
But when we get into the
Dragão
replay,
da
we can have a look
Montanha
back at
é
how
excepcional pra
C9
C9.
came out ahead in that fight. They're now up in Drakes, they're up in kills, they're up in gold.
Com
And
Volibear,
C9 is looking
Illicin
fantastic
e
in
Leona,
this early game.
Honestly,
isso
I just
daqui
can't
é
praise Fudge enough.
monstruoso na mão
Like,
da C9.
he came into the season, he had such a poor lock-in performance, and he continues to impress. Here, trying to escape from the Destiny Client, has locked in the gold card. Fudge doesn't really have anywhere to go. Zhao, who's going to dive onto him, and maybe a little bit of a caster curse there, as Fudge will get shut down, but he delayed for as long as possible.
RNG immediately back out on the map. They get the kill onto Blabber, they get the kill onto Fudge. Now they're three-man bot. And you can see Sven is
Double
hesitant.
ping
She's
que
got
mata,
flash.
não pode dar
Vulcan
cara.
does not have flash, importantly. W
tem
does
uma
too,
galera
as you
aí.
say.
Gonna spot that one
W
out.
dele doeu, hein?
You can see how close the gold is across the board though. Sven and Gala
Actually,
practically
just
even.
perfect. Yeah, it's perfectly matched.
Yep.
Sven got a single CS to...
But the big difference, Blabber and Wei. That's really where the difference has come from. And huge props to Blabber. He now has his eyes set on Xiaohu, no flash.
Xiaohu has no flash, as you say. Perks coming in, misses the paddle star just to the side, but Blabber will secure the kill. A solo bolo for the Bear.
Blabber's feeling it this game.
Ele mudou de
He
item, ele
had
pensou
enough
na
of the criticism.
manopla e
He was
pegou o que
tired
meu
of playing
tanque e falou, melhor o que meu
standard
tanque, que eu
jungle.
vou
Instead,
correr que
he's
nem
all about gank and all
desgraçado,
about
e é
making
isso aí.
plays. So here we can see RNG
Olha
collapsing
aqui
into
o
the river. The
setup,
flash
viu?
in, the hook does land onto the volley bear, and then Vulcan soaking up a lot of damage. Here's the
Aí ele
stopwatch.
vai,
The ultimate
recua
through.
no
Don't have time because we're back in the game.
Solar flare
E
onto
vira
Cry,
logo
wants a
depois.
stopwatch of his own. Now he does have flash, but where's he gonna go? Nowhere is the answer. Equalizer from Wei
A
just to
ult
clear
foi pra
out the
treinar o
wave.
Wave pra impedir que a
Cloud9
C9
ready,
consiga
it's
colapsar
9
no
kills to
mid.
4 up. 2 dragons
uma
to
boa
nil up.
decisão,
Last
foi uma
time they
decisão
played against
limpa
RNG, at this
do
point,
Wave.
they were 2,000 gold behind. Now they are 2,000 gold ahead.
Vulcan and Blabberman.
E
they're just
novamente,
moving
eles
around
estão
the map.
givando
They're
cada
getting
vez
busy,
mais a pressão do bot.
looking for plays,
E estão deixando o
looking to get
Gala
aggressive.
ficar livre.
And they're finding them. They're finding
Claro,
them.
né? É uma Zaya, é um campeão que não vale a pena você criar jogada em cima, porque é muito defensivo.
This is the Blabber that all NA fans
Tipo,
were
a Zaya
looking
quer que
for.
você crie jogada em cima
He's been
dela.
criticized heavily throughout this tournament, but he may have the performance that can take a win over RNG and keep the hopes of getting out of groups alive. The percentage of scenarios are low, Medic, but a win here would be massive.
It's so big because you're beating a team that other teams are not winning against. Only PSG have beaten RNG so far.
E é o caminho de volta, tá? Só pra deixar bem claro.
Lots of skirmishes, put RNG on the back foot, but then you have to keep the snowball rolling, and that's what we're looking for C9 here. Last time they gained a lead, RNG were able to eke it back. They then got a good team fight. They need to keep that momentum going if they're going to close out this game.
Importantly as well, Gala is not on Kai'Sa.
Yep.
When they came back earlier in the day, he was on a champion that he has a lot of comfort on and a lot of success with domestically. And now he's playing the Xayah now. That doesn't mean that he's a bad Xayah by any means, but...
Minion wave arrives at the wrong time here for Perks.
We'll see if that Xayah pick makes it harder for him to have the same carry performances as he does on the Kai'Sa, because when RNG is in this kind of a deficit, my eyes generally fall on to him as the kind of player that will step up, make plays, and win out on those team fights for RNG.
For the moment, though, C9 very happy with this state of affairs. You can see Sven alongside Vulcan off towards this top side, looking to take...
A C9 ainda tem mais um arauto que eles devem jogar para derrubar a torre do mid. Eu acho que é a decisão mais consciente que eles podem tomar.
Which suffered a charge to the Rift-Held sister earlier on in the game, and with a minute on the Mountain Drake, I assume that's where it will be spawned for Cloud9. RNG do have control of this bottom side of the jungle. Fudge needs to be just that little bit more careful.
Nossa, minha garganta tá muito ferrada. Vocês sabem que eu tô aqui gravando todo dia com você. Meu amigo! E eles não vão conseguir pegar ele. Foi muita gente, não pegaram o Lee, que é um campeão muito escorregadio de fato. E tomaram. E vão tomar duas torres? Não, vão tomar duas cabeçadas do arauto. Mais uma torre só. E agora, o dragão é da C9, praticamente.
Fudge is just having such a great MSI so far. 4-1-1 on the Lee Sin right now. 700 gold ahead or so. And C9 with a 2,500 gold lead at the 18-minute mark. As you said earlier, not many scenarios had them coming out. I think it was about 5% of all scenarios at the start of the day, but a win here will shoot that to the moon and Cloud9, well, I'll be saying a few prayers. Amen, you have to think for the LCS representatives. The Paddle Star hits, the Dragon Beam started. This is the third of the game. Cloud9, they are in control of basically everywhere on the map. Only that top lane, really, RNG have the push in right now.
RNG have been cross-mapping across the board. It's how they've kind of kept the gold even for a while. You can see, once again, only back down to about 1.5k gold difference. They've done a really good job of
vamos ver uma coisa. Se eu vejo em algum momento que a RNG consiga virar completamente esse jogo, eu acho que eles estão na mesma timeline que a Mad Lion, só que eles estão bem mais estáveis, né?
I don't think that they're well known domestically for their crazy team fighting, even though they did have some in playoffs. It was a lot more about their objective control, about how they manage sideways, about their smart macro play. And while their approach to the game is a little bit different to that of Damwon, it is definitely still terrifying to deal with. As while all those side lane shenanigans are happening, Gala is silently farming up, silently building into that terror that he often is in so many team fights for this RNG squad. So C9 looking good, looking confident, but it's too early to get optimistic just yet because they've had leads against teams before. Hell, they had a lead against Damwon.
Tipo assim, a RNG, agora ela tem que ter consciência, é isso que eles começaram a fazer. Splitar o mapa, saber que eles têm que fazer um 3-1, tem que jogar o TF para um lado, jogar o...
For now, it's just the ping pong of waves, the battle of wards. Who has information on who, and is someone overstepping? A single pick could swing that into a Baron.
You see Cloud9 will gain control of the Scuttle Crab as well. Fudge after pushing in the bottom lane, it starts to work his way up towards mid, and then
a RNG por enquanto tá tranquila em ganhar tempo, e a C9 não tá desconfortável porque eles estão controlando o mapa. Então basicamente, o que a C9 tá esperando? A C9 tá esperando um erro de posicionamento da RNG. Tá esperando algum membro da RNG pisar pra frente fora da área deles pra poder tomar um pick-off e, consequentemente, abrir uma janela pro Barão ser feito. Entende? É tudo...
So I like the Zhonya's. Give the team a little bit more durability, a little bit more stalling power. We'll see how it plays out as the fights are soon to come. Drake spawns in 2.5 minutes.
I feel like these fights are just, they're always on the horizon. We had one really cool fight.
But RNG don't want to fight anymore, you know? But RNG's very good at that. You know what? No. We will meet you later when we are ready. Until then, have a good day.
Have a cuppa, get a biscuit.
Yep. Guys, if you want a beverage, now's your opportunity to get it.
Yeah, you've got a minute 50 seconds.
You've got a minute 50 seconds.
É exatamente o que falaram. A gente vai ter aqui, ó, se quiserem, ó, vai ter 2 minutos que não vai acontecer nada. A RNG não quer comprar briga e a C9 tá esperando a RNG errar o passo, então eles não vão dar over e a RNG não vai também abrir pra tomar. Então vai ficar esse, né, aquele, não vou.
We're building up for that epic team fight, and remember, Cloud9 team fight. Good.
They do it well. They do it well. And of course, it's a great soul for Cloud9 if they can get it as well. Mountain Soul into quite a bit of poke on the side of RNG in the form of, you know, wild cards and the.
E o vou liberta de Zhonya's, meus amigos.
Extra shield really helps you stay healthy at the start of a fight.
A gente vai ter um urso dourado dando dive nos caras. A gente vai ter um urso dourado dando dive nos caras, galera. Meu sonho de infância tá realizado.
Squishy, you know, you don't have a big tank that you have to work your way through, so the collector gives you just that little bit extra burst damage that could be needed to finalize a kill on an opponent. Vision really in favor of RNG in this river right now. We've still got 40 seconds before the dragon comes up, and you can see C9 slowly working their way in. They've got 4 control wards in their inventory.
O Perks vai começar a descer, ele é o único membro isolado. Se a RNG tivesse, por exemplo, se o TF ultasse agora, ele saberia que o Perks é o alvo perfeito para eles pegarem.
Wei has to flash away. Ming jumped on here by Blabber. That's the flash out as well, but Crine has a really good flank position. There's the equalizer. The shield, the locket, Sven still alive. Ming goes to sleep, Perks goes forward. Solar Flare down towards the bottom side of the fight, and everyone disengages for the moment.
Every engage tool from Cloud9 has been used, and RNG has just
Não, você ainda tem a ultimate do vôlei, na real. Você calma aí. Todas as ferramentas de engage da C9 foram usadas. O Blabber ainda tem ultimate, o Fudge ainda tem flash ult. Tá louco?
There's the stopwatch. Fudge has the flash kick. Dragon's Rage, he gets in! He gets Gala! And the killer instinct collects!
E a leitura da C9 foi muito inteligente, sabe? É o que eu tô falando desde, sei lá quantos jogos atrás. Mas eu tô falando isso há muito tempo, cara. Que o carry da RNG é o Gala. Então você tem que tirar o Gala das jogadas se você quiser que eles percam. E o Perks agora tá com confiança. Meu amigo! Que tristeza. O Fudge abusou, deu over, famoso, padrão.
Taking down RNG could be huge for them qualifying for the semi-finals. The momentum swing that they need to get back in form and get into a position for those best of fives. So much credit has to be given to Blabber for his fantastic early game. Vulcan has been coming up clutch in the mid. And then it was Fudge in that fight that made the play, that got the pick onto Gala, that allowed them to win out in the end. So let's have a look initially. You can see Strikebreaker come through from Fudge, doesn't quite land the CC, Blabber flashes in onto Ming, he has the Aftershock, and then this flank from Cryan forces the flash out from Sven, and you're like, oh wow, C9 actually can't get the fight that they want. So RNG's just reposturing, getting in a position to then contest for the next Drake, but then C9 sees a window. 3 versus 5, they can go for this play.
Novamente, qual é o grande ponto? É que o Wei e o Cryan estão fora de posição. Isso daí é um potencial que só o Lee Sin consegue criar. Só o Lee Sin consegue criar.
So well played. You can feel the hype from Cloud9. You can feel the hype from
Esse é o Gala, inclusive, tá? O Gala tá sentindo o jogo escapar dos dedos dele. E agora C9 com essa alma, meu amigo, se eles garantirem os próximos objetivos, se eles garantirem esse barão e garantirem também a alma, é muito sucesso pra C9.
No flashes.
Alma não, né? O Welder.
If you are caught, you are down. Baron down to 7,000. There's the Destiny. Perks lands the CP Trouble Bubble, manages to get away. Way looking to get in from the back here, but Fudge is going to kick him away, and that Baron is secured. Cloud9 will get it.
Cara, o Fudge tá sendo facilmente o MVP dessa partida.
But Sven is having none of it. He dives in. The Stormbringer from Blabber as well, and Gala's popped the Feather Storm, but Way is already down. So is Ming.
E tem tudo pra ser um GG da C9 agora, inclusive, hein? O Gala não pode avançar de novo. Eles não tem como cleanar contra o Barão. Mas eu não sei se eles têm tempo pra cleanar isso daqui. BTP. Tá.
Oh no, he's not. Okay, never mind.
Ok.
They're actually going to choose to disengage here. Okay, then I think the TP was a bit of a waste. I got a little overexcited for
Esse
nothing.
TP foi lixo. Foi completamente
from
desnecessário, na realidade. Eles gastarem TP se eles não quiserem finalizar o jogo. Bom, tá bom, eles vão rotacionar pro bot e vão fazer essa double rotation pra pressionar as duas waves. O problema é que o Lee Sin agora ficou solto, sabe?
Very helpful when it comes to qualifying for the semi-finals. And let's just look back at the engaged. Sven says, you know what? I want to be on the
foi exatamente no tempo que a carta dourada expirou, meus amigos.
Very early on, but the front line of RNG just disappears. Zhao, who can't do anything, and RNG don't get the opportunity to play on the side lanes. They are forced into these 5v5s. They are getting outplayed. They are getting outfought. And look at the smile on Fudge's face.
E sendo bem sincero, cara, Fudge e Blabber estão jogando absurdos. Conseguiram resgatar a confiança do Perks. E agora o Perkz, tanto que o Perkz está tendo praticamente um jogo sem erros. Claro, ele teve correção, né? Ele teve erros de skill shot no early game, quase tomou um pick-off no early game também. Mas fora isso, ele resgatou a confiança dele. Então, assim, é muito forte, é muito o jeito certo de ganhar um jogo, sabe? Eu quero ver os itens do Fudge. Isso é o que tá me deixando mais curioso. Qual o terceiro item do Fudge? Eu não olhei.
Dodges wide Xiaohu, and now the inhibitor will be next. Cloud9, unrelenting, continuing the pressure, continuing to force RNG between a rock and a hard place. What decision do you make? Do you engage? Do you go for it? Cloud9 are not giving you a moment to breathe, they're not giving you a moment to think as they look to the Nexus towers. First one almost down. Cloud9 back away just a little bit, just a smidge, just a tad.
A C9 não precisa da over, sabe? Eles não precisam puxar. Eles podem só matar minions e deixar as waves deles entrarem. Eles têm dois lados com Super Minions. O Blabber ainda não ultou. E agora ele desligou as duas torres. All survive, get back to the fountain. One tower goes down, crying, looking for the flank. But once again, a sonic wave hits him. As soon as he comes up, almost down. He's walking away. Vulcan goes in with the Zenith blade. That's two. Ming down. And now we can see C9. Isso daí, sim. E agora sim o GG da C9. E meus amigos, isso daí é quadra kill da Kai'Sa. Meu Deus. Foi o jogo mais consciente, mais correto de tudo. E pra mim, os MVPs foram disparadamente Fudge e Blabber. Cara, o Blabber, e vou te dizer, essa build de Zhonya's foi extremamente inteligente. Por quê? Porque você dá bait no disengage do time adversário. Quando você ulta de Volibear numa Xayah, ela provavelmente vai ultar pra sair. Então a Xayah ela tá entre uma situação ruim e uma situação ruim. Que é o quê? Você pode não ultar. Se você não ulta, você toma... Se você não ulta, você toma o controle de grupo e potencialmente morre. E se você ulta, esse Volibear vai dar Zhonya's e comprar tempo contra você. Então foi brutal. Jogos assim excepcionais, jogadas excepcionais, um Perkz sem cometer erros, um Perkz que não morreu, que não tomou pick-off na side lane, que não tomou pick-off no meio de rotação, o Sven extremamente agressivo nos momentos corretos e sabendo que Valene sem tomar pique embaixo da torre, sem tomar dive. Sério, é excepcional a leitura de jogo, a leitura de mapa, as rotações. E meus amigos, assim, absurdo. E vamos ver qual foi a música da C9. O Anthem. Vamos saber o hino da C9. Thunderstruck do AC/DC. Amei isso, velho. É sensacional. É sensacional a escolha de música. Acho uma música de impacto. Uma música forte. E é o que a C9 precisa. A C9 precisa de impacto se ela quiser sair dessa fase de grupo. Então, meus amigos, parabéns a C9, jogaço incrível, ganharam da Royal, equipe favoritíssima a levar a taça. E muito bom. Sinceramente, espero ver mais nos jogos de hoje. Vamos que vamos, galera. Como sempre, meus amigos, é um prazer estar aqui com vocês. E, para não ficar sem, né? GG! E até logo!